Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social, the best podcast in the world. That's going to be my new tagline now.
It's the fact.
Yeah, exactly. FCA's good point, Ryan. But first of all, before we get into all of that, I'm delighted to be joined by the legends themselves, Ryan and Ben. How are we doing, chaps? We all good? Oh, Ryan.
yeah, all good, mate.
I'm alright, mate.
Look at Ryan starting that out, just like nothing happened.
No, great, mate. What a day out yesterday was, honestly. What a day out.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely buzzing. I was in the West Ham end, so I had to be quiet, but we'll get into that in a minute because that was funny. But to be fair, what I can say, no, I didn't jump up and scream and shout, but the opinions around me were interesting, and it was really interesting to hear
that'd be good
West Ham perspective. So I could actually go into that a bit in a bit. The West Ham perspective of Brighton was good. It was good to hear, an actual unbiased opinion of us, which was interesting.
Yeah, we actually got some decent feedback, even on Twitter. Like some of the West Ham fans were being really nice. They were like the away support didn't stop singing the whole game. One of them was like, it was as if you had like a hymn or like a song sheet in front of everyone the whole game. He was like, you guys put us to shame. So I was like, they were actually.
No, I saw that.
Apart from the guy in the grey tracksuit, obviously. I think he was the one West Ham fan that everyone was taking a piss out of. But
was it close from Matalan, wasn't it?
Yeah, Matalan trackings. Got kicked out in the 24th minute, apparently. Embarrassing.
Just quickly, before we do get into the whole West Ham game, of course, let's just quickly, for anyone who hasn't seen it on socials or hasn't been following us on socials, whatever, make sure you do. Seagulls Social on all platforms. However, we have the nominations have come out for the FCAs, the Football Content Awards, and Premier League's Best Podcast. We are in, we haven't been nominated yet, but the votes are in. So please go and vote if you haven't already.
For the finals, which is good.
Yeah, 100%. We've had a lot of a lot of tags. So I really appreciate everyone who supported so far.
Yeah, thank you.
If you haven't already voted, you can go onto Instagram, tag us on their podcast, Premier League podcast.
By the way, this isn't an ask, lads. This is a demand.
Telling
you have to do it. If you're watching this, you have to do it. Otherwise, you're going to have
go and do it now.
Bad luck.
Your whole village and town will be burnt down if you do not do it.
Also as well, please can you also do it on the website? So the link is on the FCA's Instagram or whatever link you want to do, and then just click on the link, and then you'll be able to get a drop down box of the categories and just pick podcast, and then just manually enter Seagulls Social. That'll be much appreciated.
I'll try and put a link. I'll pin the links in the comments. I'll see if that.
Perfect.
I've got to shoot after this.
Right.
Yeah, I'll try and remember.
Without further ado, let's get in. What another brilliant result! We could not ask for a better start to the season. Apart from 3 wins and 3 we could have, but 2 wins and a draw. I mean,
should have had.
Yeah, exactly. Newcastle, we should have won that game. But 2 wins out of 3, incredible. Was it 2 away wins? Old Trafford, London Stadium, and then a draw at home. So I mean, look, we can't get any better. And Ryan, as you said, you were there, albeit in the op block. Talk to us. How was it from
op block? On new panic and go.
How was it?
We were dominant from start to finish, and the good thing was, so obviously I love going in the away ends, and I always will, but it was actually a bit of a blessing in disguise going up in this West Ham end. It was really weird not celebrating goals, obviously, but I got to watch the game from almost like a neutral / rival's perspective, and I thought, do you know what, for today I'm just going to pretend I'm not a Brighton fan and actually live into that, and actually just watch Brighton as if I'm playing against Brighton, and just watching them, it was just domination, mate. Honestly, the football on display was ridiculous, and you just watched us passing it around, so confident, and every single player on that pitch yesterday has to take a bow today because they were absolutely superb. It was a game worthy of way more than 2 goals. We looked like we were 5-0 up in that game. We were so dominant, and West Ham didn't even have a sniff. Didn't even look like scoring. Didn't look like really creating a problem. Declan Rice, a player you'd be worried about, no worries. It's just none of their players were literally any worry. The only one that probably had us on a little bit was Ben Rama at times, but even that was very minimal. So, no, absolute dominance personified for every single one of those players. They're fantastic.
Egg fraud Rice, mate. That's what his name is.
And Ben, anything different? Obviously, we watched it on a legal stream, of course, as we do. How did you see the game?
From my sofa, it was really comfy, hungover again, shop. It's an engagement party on my friend's birthday, but No, so I'm going a bit away from what Ryan's already said. I don't want to repeat him. Alexis McAllister, like the first 10 minutes, I'd say, I was a bit like, oh God, I don't think he's cut out for this DM role. Like, he put a few passes wayward. I think he gave the ball away a couple of times. And then after that, he just became unbelievable. Yeah, he was so good. Like, even winning the ball back as well. I don't think he gets enough attention on the fact he's just suddenly been put in this new role, a number 10 playing like a number 6 role basically, and just doing really, really well in it. In one of the best leagues in the world, like the strongest leagues in the world, dominating a normally really good midfield for West Ham, Souček and Rice. And you've got this little Argentinian lad who's the size of Lionel Messi putting the strings in midfield. Like, it is really, so sick to see. And then obviously scoring a penalty. It was,
I think that's credit to. We've got to give credit to Potter. I know we're going to get onto Potter because there's a lot to talk about with him, but I think that's credit to Potter because losing Basuma, losing Cucurella, everyone thought, oh yeah, Brighton, they're going to be shit this season. Are they going to flirt with relegation, etc., etc. And I'm going to be honest. I was never thinking that we'll get relegated or anything.
We'll go for the Champions League.
I had my worries. I was a bit like, how are we going to get on this season? We lost 2 key players. It doesn't look like we're really replacing them as of yet. There's still a long way to go, but as of yet, and I was a bit like, oh, okay, but mate, credit to Potter, just incredible how he set up the team, the formation, the personnel. Yeah, mate, I think, I can't emphasize enough how lucky we are to have Graham Potter. But yeah, let's talk about the penalty first of all. Everyone happy with the decision? There's no,
Yeah, I think obviously I was right on top of it, so I could see quite clearly. And I thought penalty. I must admit, I did think for a minute that it was going to be called outside of the box because I wasn't sure if initial contact, initial challenge was going to come into it, and I was a bit like maybe he sort of dived into the box, but obviously I don't get to see the replays. But I don't even know. But what a penalty, by the way, for McAllister. Yeah. So cool. At a 60,000 seat stadium, a lot of the fans, booing him and getting on him. He just kept his nerve, and to be fair to McAllister. I think I had a bit of deja vu from the Wolves game where, he made it back, but he sort of crumbled under that pressure a little bit at first. And I was worried, but no, he stepped up. Great penalty. Probably one of the most convincing penalties a Brighton player's taken in the last 5 years, to be honest.
Yeah. He ran up to it with so much confidence. Just what I was like, he's not missing this. But normally I'm just like, no, we're missing penalties because we love missing pens.
Same.
Yeah. On that, on the penalties, do we want? Because as we all know, Pascal Gross missed a couple of had a few howlers. One that stands out for me is the West Brom one. Do you remember? That was the big one for me. Oh yeah. It was a couple of seasons ago.
Neal Maupay.
Neal Maupay. Missed. So do we want? Are we happy with McAllister being the designated spot kick taker? Everyone happy?
Best out of a bad bunch, isn't he? I think. I don't think we haven't got many other. For some reason, people saying, why don't Welbeck take penalties? But obviously, he's just maybe not as good as penalties. There's obviously a reason why he's not taking penalties. I
really think Trossard, and I want to talk about Trossard in a minute, but I really think Trossard be a decent penalty taker. I don't know what it is about him. He seems to have a bit of flair to him enough to
confidence right now, isn't it? He's got a bit of an ego now, hasn't he? But a good ego that you'd want.
Mate, he looks happy as well. That celebration, he looks really happy. Yeah. I mean, Leo, of probably the first season we had him. Yeah, the first season we had him, you were a bit like, is he just a bit grumpy at times? Is he a bit, he was a bit inconsistent, but now he's just
100%.
Yeah, but now he's just quality, honestly, and it looks like he loves it. He's got his celebration now, goes up to the fans and does that off every time. It's brilliant. And I'll tell you what, honestly, I think this Brighton team that we've got at the moment, the connection to the fans at the moment is fantastic. Yeah. There's a big thing we had sort of midway through last season when obviously some things went down, which the players don't play for us anymore, and now we don't have those problems anymore, and you can tell in the team.
I mean, even two seasons ago, Ryan, I think one of our first seasons, you were like, there's literally no connection to the players, all that kind of stuff. You were falling out of love with it, and now the team morale, you could just feel it, and then that's why it comes onto the fans, and then the fans are just going to reciprocate that with
100%.
Amazing songs. But also, sorry, quickly on the penalty as well. How embarrassing was it Keraha from PSG? His debut give away a penalty in the first 20 minutes. That's got to be the worst start to debut ever. Who was it for Real Madrid? Jonathan Woodgate when he got sent off for 5 minutes into his debut. Do you remember? That's up there for sure.
The West Ham fans around me were so annoyed because they were saying he's a fantastic signing. And I saw one of the Brighton fans on Twitter say before the game, I can't remember who it was, and they said, give him the Lisandro Martinez treatment, new to the team, just target him, get Welbeck running at him. And it worked. Yeah. And he brought him down, silly mistake, penalty. And
Do you not think it could have been a red? Obviously, I guess that's what you were asking earlier.
There was someone covering though, wasn't there?
That's what I was trying to get earlier.
Was there someone covering enough? Okay.
Yeah, I think there was.
Because Alana was going up to the referee being like, no, this needs to be a red card because it's last man. But yeah, Welbeck went down so funny though. I think he like tried to kind of stay on his feet and thought, nah, I'm going down here.
Credit to him for not diving, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it could have been bad if they had a man sent off. It could have maybe been 4 or 5, well, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, they're quite lucky in that respect. But then yeah, like Ryan said, Ryan's touched on. I feel like there wasn't many threats. Like you said, Ryan. Like Benrahma did look pretty good when he was on the ball. And I remember as well, they were going to sub him off, weren't they, in the second half? And then as he sort of started to sort of do a bit, they then put Skamaka on for someone else. I can't remember who it was.
Fornals.
But yeah, Fornals, that's it. So it was interesting to see how they approached it. Because I feel like they just didn't really threaten us. Is that fair to say? I feel
literally,
like
it was just the two Souček headers that were like back to back when Sanchez made 2 unbelievable saves, by the way. Those are the only times I kind of like felt threatened. Like you kind of mentioned that Benrahma chance in the first 10 minutes when he kind of it was quite far out, but still was like, that was close. Yeah, I could have set a precedent for them to keep going, but yeah, they really didn't. We just they could not get the ball from us or break us down.
I'll tell you what. I was talking about Trossard a minute ago. He's so well suited to that centre forward role. I think he's really probably in his best position there because it allows him to drop deeper as well. And that was one of the best things I thought of yesterday was when we brought Estupinian on, who was fantastic by the way. Great crosses, great bursts of pace. Looks like his first touch was great. Looks like he was really up for it. A lot of confidence in him. Actually, a Villarreal fan commented on one of my tweets and said that he was pivotal to their team and was a massive part of their Champions League run, big part of Unai Emery's plans in his system. So he's going to be massively missed, and even went as far to say he's better than Cucurella. And that's coming from a Villarreal fan. Obviously, we're going to get carried away, but he was fantastic in his debut. And to see him go into that left side, that's that sort of like consolidated that side now, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Yeah. Trossard's then allowed to go into the centre where he's his best, and it really showed. Once the Estupinian came on, we were asserting dominance completely, and Trossard was absolutely free flowing. Honestly,
yeah, I'm really happy that we've signed him because that was my big issue, and I've always said it, haven't I? Do you remember that when was it the beginning of last season, not this season, last season, when we had the podcast and I got asked, what's more important, the striker position or the left back position? And I said left back, and I still believe that. I feel like that's so integral to the way we play. Don't get me wrong, we need a striker to score goals. There's no two ways about it. There's no dressing it up. But at the same time, I feel like having a left wing back or left back that you can depend on, and starts from the back, starts the attacks, does the defensive duties. I feel like it's so key, and Estupinian I feel like can definitely do both of those.
His heat map must have been just like a left winger the whole game, wasn't it? He was literally so far forward the whole game, pretty much. That's exactly what you want from a left wing back under Potter, really.
I think he's found the spot there. Exactly. The only trouble is, I think he's more than worthy of taking that starting place, obviously. But who do you drop at the minute? Because you can't even drop Solly March because he goes over to the right and has done a good job there. Can't drop Trossard for obvious reasons. Obviously, Veltman, Dunk and Webster at the back are quite solid, solid for that. Midfield's fine. McAllister and etc. are completely undroppable. I don't know who you would take out. You can't even, people would say Lallana. You can't take Lallana out. He's brilliant. Absolute engine at the moment. Fair enough in a few months' time. But you can't drop Lallana at the moment. So where Estupinian comes in at the minute, I don't know.
That brings us on really nicely, Ryan, because we had a few comments on our socials saying that we're not too sure. Let me get the exact quotes up. Bear with me 2 seconds because I don't want to misquote it. Yeah. Oh no, I'll omit the usernames, but essentially, so we posted on the weekend after the game, and a few comments here. So here we go. We need to make use of our newer players. But we're fucking huge. I want to see more subs, to be honest. I want to see more subs. And Wepu, Matoma, Undav, Maupay, Lamptey all sitting on the bench. They're better than the 65-minute-old players. Great result, though. So, there's a few comments there. So let's address this. So, Ben, we'll start with you. First of all, on those 2 comments alone, just on those 2 specifically, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with them? And then I'll go on to Ryan and ask the same question.
I don't really agree with him, to be honest. I feel like he made the right substitutes yesterday, which worked perfectly. Like, as soon as we like Ryan said, as soon as Trossard was pushed further forward when Estepinian came on, we scored literally pretty much straight away. So you can't really have a go at him for making lack of substitutions or wrong substitutions. And if we lost our first 3 games, then you could maybe say, well, he's playing the wrong players, but he's absolutely not playing the wrong players. If anything, the only thing that let us down against Newcastle was just a clinical striker, which hopefully we might sign eventually if Neal Maupay does actually go, which I think we're going to talk about anyway. But no, I don't think there's any reason to complain. I guess maybe they're just excited. They want to see more from the new players because people have a lot of love for like Mwepu, who didn't really feature much yesterday. So maybe that's where they're a bit frustrated.
Yeah, nice. Brian?
Yeah, I think what is really important to remember for fans is that it's not FIFA, it's not Football Manager. You don't just chuck your new players in.
All right, Fabrizio Romano. That's what he said to that kid, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was like, go play FIFA career mode.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it isn't FIFA career mode, so you can't just put your players in. And if you've got a system that's working, especially like yesterday, for us to make 5 substitutions would have been silly. I mean, we've got a working team. I mean, Mitoma came on in the last 4 minutes, and he said it the week before.
Mitoma.
But it goes to show that's a great chant. But it goes to show it just goes to show Potter really that how good he's been able to make this side. That it doesn't really matter who's in that 11. Yes, we've got so much quality on the bench, but if anything, that just goes to show that Potter can do it with anyone in that squad. And actually, that was that question I got asked on behalf of us boys on that show yesterday, Talk TV. And he said, do you think you've got the depth to go all the way this season? And I said that I think that with Potter, you'll see that the DNA of the club goes all the way down to the under 18s. And they all play that similar brand of football of passing it around and, dominance in possession and out of possession as well. And I said that, it doesn't matter whether we've got a 17-year-old kid coming in or whether we've got a brand new 25-year-old striker. Dennis Undav has proven that completely. 25-year-old striker scored 31 goals last year, doesn't even get a game. But, there's no doubt he will get a game. But it goes to show that we've got a Danny Welbeck, which people wrote off last year, and we've got Leandro Trossard, which people also wrote off last year, and a Solly March, which I wrote off this year. So, you've got these players that just coming through this side that don't even need to be replaced at the moment, and we can sign these players, but we've got the depth 100%. And even if we needed to, I wouldn't even doubt us to go into Under-23s and take one of the midfielders out and there's a good game. I mean, look at Alzate in the first year. So yeah, it's just credit to the whole system that we've got at the minute. It's just perfect. Yeah,
no, 100%. Also, as well, just quickly, is there someone in your cupboard? It sounds like someone's stuck in your cupboard trying to get out. I can hear like a little bangs.
Basically, I've got a new desk and I keep hitting my elbow. Every time I bend that, because I move a lot when I talk.
Oh, okay, no worries.
You've started a conspiracy theory now, Maz. It's going to be all over Twitter. Hashtag who's in Ryan's closet.
No, but just quickly on that. No, I agree, Ryan. I think we have to be smart with how we use our new arrivals. I think we need to make sure, like if we've got Forest Green midweek, it's a perfect opportunity to play the Undavs, to play the Matomas, play the Nkisos,
I saw Sarmiento twice yesterday, by the way.
He was out
like quite a few times. Yeah, I think he's injured though, isn't he? Because his whole family were there with like Sarmiento shirts, so it was great. You could tell he just was like walking around like class. Yeah, he's very cool guy. I can't lie.
Yeah, but like for example, midweek
before the game.
Midweek we've got Forest Green, we've got Levi Colwill, we got Lamptey, we got Maupay. Well, Maupay's probably going to go, but Matoma and Mwepu, Undav, like Estepinian, they can all start and they're all playing. Like you said, Ryan, they will get their chances this season. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be
team
suspensions.
Absolutely obliterated.
I'm buzzing to see this Forest Green game.
Yeah,
see how they all do together.
Yeah, it should be really good, and yeah, I think it's definitely key. I love that Potter as well. You can't change a winning team. Like, it'll be stupid for Potter to drop like 3 or 4 players just to accommodate newer players. It just doesn't make any sense.
In 3, and that's really unlike us to go unchanged in 3.
Yeah,
and it's worked every single time. So Pascal Gross, mate, has been absolutely superb. That assist yesterday for Trossard. If that's De Bruyne, that's being talked about every single week.
Or Messi, literally any of them.
Literally, any biggest playmaker in the world, and that's one of the most elite moves you could have made. Ozil, that would have been on a comp for the next 30 years. It was a fantastic, little flick. Trossard,
amazing.
I tell you what, it was really nice to see Brighton have a really quick and lethal attack. I mean, it happened so quick that West Ham fans didn't even know how to react, and even the lads behind me, They were quite boyish, to be fair, and they were a bit like, yeah. He said that was just absolutely quality, and he said this Brighton. He kept saying this Brighton team. He said that honestly superb. He said Potter's been a fantastic manager. He was saying how brilliant we are in possession. We come here and just dominate. He said that West Ham have no clue and everything, and they're all getting on their back, booing them. Booed at full time, half time. It's fun. It was so funny.
It was a really strange goal because it was going back and forth, wasn't it? It was like Webster cleared it, and then they headed it back, and then we headed it back, and then I think then Webster hoofed it in the air, and then McAllister just decided to drop it down and kill the ball dead and just go, right, I'll give it to you, and then I think he did a run and then gave it to Pascal Gross. It was just going football tennis, and then all of a sudden McAllister just changed his mind and just broke straight away. Yeah, it was so good. Such a quick counter.
Flick. It was amazing. That little flick he done was just incredible. And then when Trossard was 1-on-1, I was like, please, just hit the target. Because, there's been times where our striker's been 1-on-1 and I'm just like, I
was going to say,
really?
Going in. I actually thought
so much
for the first time in ages. Yeah.
I had a bit of nerve. I had a bit of nerves. No, it was a fantastic finish. Yeah, it was a fantastic finish, and credit all round. It was just such a good team goal. Well, as in, it was just such a well worked move, slick, like you said, Ryan.
It was such a convincing goal. Normally a Brighton attacker would maybe take too many touches, cut back, and then try and pass it, and then ruin the attack. But Trossard literally was like, nah, just ran so convincingly and just drilled the bottom corner.
That's what we've wanted to see. Brilliant. Just clinical striking and clinical movement as well. Just the way we just broke out of that whole, that midfield that's meant to be so dominant in it for West Ham. And people big up the West Ham midfield so much and the West Ham defence. They're meant to be hard to play against. We made them look genuinely championship standard they looked, and it's just full credit. I can't stop giving credit to Graham Potter. I feel like I just come on this podcast every week and just say how amazing this guy is, because it's just, I don't even know what else to say anymore. I mean, I can't even describe as to how the football we play is so fantastic.
No more superlatives are there.
I genuinely believe that we don't realise how lucky we've got it right now. I think as soon as you were to take Potter out of this club, you will see how important he was or is to the club and how much impact he has. Of course, he's the head coach, he's the manager, he makes the decisions on the pitch. But I think even off the pitch and just, the stuff he does behind the scenes, I'm sure he's so involved.
I'm sure the man management and
Yeah, exactly. Like the psychological side to it, not just the stuff we see on the pitch, but just all the behind the scenes stuff.
I can't see Potter going anytime soon. That's the thing. I mean, people say, what if he goes next year? But the way I look at it is a top four, right? Unless he gets a move to Bayern Munich or something. But if I look at the top four of the Premier League, you've got United, then you've got sort of Man City, Pep Guardiola, Chelsea, Tuchel, Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp. Spurs have got Conte. Arsenal are stuck with Arteta. I think
Tuchel would be the one. I think Tuchel might be that first manager to go the Big Six, and then I wouldn't be surprised if you see Potter linked with Chelsea. I wouldn't be surprised.
100%.
And then you've got that new owner that might want to do something new and fresh and wild, and then actually finally give a punt on Potter. That's the only kind of pathway I can see of him leaving this season.
Well, even I'm saying we're leagues ahead in my opinion, but Leicester, Brendan Rodgers is in big trouble at the moment. So will Leicester try and go for him? I mean, I can definitely see that happening. I can't see him. I can't see him go to Leicester. No, I feel like they're nowhere near.
Why do you want to openly want to go to Leicester anyway?
I mean, historically, and they're actually a well-run club, but in terms of currently, right now, they're in a shit. Their players aren't really up to scratch. The final wants to leave.
I know they won.
No.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I feel like it wouldn't be a progressive step for him. I don't think going to Leicester.
And then obviously Villa, if Gerrard leaves, because he's obviously Gerrard's doing worse. And because he's a Villa fan, isn't he? No, but he's a Villa fan. That's what I'm only seeing. Yeah, he's from Villa, isn't he? Yeah, he's from.
I didn't know he supported them.
Yeah,
I know he's from Birmingham, obviously.
He's from Birmingham, yeah. But I thought he's got an affiliation there.
Fan.
That's why.
He started his career at Birmingham, I'm sure.
Did he?
Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't mean a lot.
Oh yeah, he's born in Solihull. Yeah, he's born in Birmingham. Yeah, interesting.
So maybe it is. I remember hearing about that when Gerrard, before Gerrard got the job, he was being linked because Villa fans were saying that he's a Villa fan. I don't know.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah. Well, Birmingham is Villa is Birmingham, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, cool. So yeah, basically, just to summarise the West Ham game, I've got one more point actually, quickly. So just, I know it's not really related to Brighton, but I thought it's an interesting point, just because I feel like it's actually relevant to us, I suppose, in a way, and you'll find out why. So Declan Rice after the game, I don't know if you guys saw the interview, but he got interviewed about the game and like how the boos that rang out, and essentially, and I'm sort of paraphrasing here, but he said that we're not Man City. And we're not going to win the league. And a lot of West Ham fans got a bit upset about that because they're like, it's not the right mentality. Like, we should be aiming, he should have worded it better and he should have been more positive, etc., etc. Now, how I sort of link it to Brighton is that the attitude we should also have? Like, in terms of, I know we're doing much better than them and we're also, we're pushing up the leagues, but, as a club, we're never going to compete in the Premier League, as in for the Premier League. But is that defeatist to say that? Is that just realistic? Like, what are your thoughts, Ryan? We'll start with you.
Oh, go on.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, Ben, you can go for it, mate. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. But at the same time, I wouldn't say it's the right mentality to have, because obviously, if you're not dreaming of trying to better yourself, then what's the point? Otherwise, you're just constantly. You put it in any work life. If you're always looking down, and you're never gonna ever get anywhere. So I don't know. Yeah, I think that you need to have a realistic sense, perhaps, but I don't think that coming out in the media and saying, we need to remember what we are and stuff, probably isn't what you need to hear after a 2-0 loss.
It reminds me of the when I was listening to it. It reminded me of the Potter post Leeds one saying they need a history lesson, saying that they need to get their expectations in line. It kind of reminded me a bit like that.
Yeah, because it was a thing.
Maybe it's one of those things that you kind of but you just don't say publicly. Like, obviously, West Ham fans know they're not Man City. You need to get expectations right. It's just because they've done so well the past 2 seasons. And I guess we were doing really well at the beginning of last season, and then obviously we hit that dirty patch, and Leeds was part of that. And I think we kind of maybe had to get our expectations in check as well, or at least some of the fans. That pocket that booed, I think that was kind of directed to them, wasn't it? And again, obviously they did get booed after the game, so that's probably why he's maybe had to give the fans a little bit of an ego check or an expectation check. Sorry.
Yeah, no, and I think as well for me, it's like, I think because it came from Declan Rice, if it was any other player in the squad, I think they would have been like, oh yeah, whatever kind of thing. I don't think they would have taken it as personally. But it's like for example, it's like Lewis Dunk coming out and saying it to us. I think that's the same impact it would have. We'd be like, whoa, Dunky said this. Like, I think it'd have the same impact. And I agree with both of you. I think, what's the point, especially if, as any competitive person, if you're not aiming, the quote I always try to do is like, aim for the moon. Even if you hit the stars, you're still a good achievement. So, I feel like you should always have a positive mind frame and stuff. And I get that, like, it doesn't look good from Declan Rice, club captain, to come out and say, and have a bit of a pop of the club, a bit of a pop of the fans, and then, basically say like, oh, yeah, this is sort of, we should be expecting this. It's like 3 defeats in a row.
I imagine the West Ham fans that did boo are just fans that kind of just underestimated Brighton. Like this, they probably went to that game thinking it'll be a nice Sunday afternoon. It might be an entertaining game, but we should win. We should beat Brighton. But obviously, people are maybe underestimating us again this season. Last season was a bit of a surprise. But we could be even
one of my colleagues in the office. One of my colleagues in the office is a West Ham fan, and he literally said this morning, he was like, he was obviously fuming about the whole booing and West Ham's performance in general, and he was like, no offence. He was like, no offence, but we should be beating teams like Brighton. And I was like, what, teams like Brighton? Yeah.
Teams like Brighton, here we go.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I was like, here we go again. But I just thought it'd be interesting just to see sort of like, how we interpreted that. But anyway, really, really good result. We're currently 5th, is it now, after the draw? Man City?
5th.
We're 4th still. Mate. We're 5th, yeah. Really, really positive result. Away from home as well, and
we need to hope that Liverpool don't collect points today, just because in the title charge that we're on at the minute.
The title charge.
We need probably one of the smaller clubs to do us a favour tonight. If United could get a point or something, that'd be good.
But that guy's tweet, let me try and find it, is when he put 35 games to go, and it was a picture of like Potter photoshopped him lifting the Premier League trophy. Who was it? Jake Taylor. What an unbelievable tweet. Let me quickly try and show you it if you haven't seen it already. Yes, Potter. 35 games to go, lads. So.
Yeah.
We'll be lifting that PL title, mate. Imagine the scenes.
Love it.
If we won the Premier League or Dummerhead Blue or something crazy, I don't even know.
Oh, 100%. That'd be sick. So, moving on. So, amazing result. Love it. We're 5th in the table. Can't ask for anything better at the moment. So let's talk about.
Sorry. I was going to say. I've just seen about the whole, we spoke about Webster before. I've seen that Thomas Tuchel is actually a very big fan of him, and that's been going for quite a while, actually. The report's been around for like 2 months, and it turns out it is true, apparently. So here's a question for us boys, if you're not moving on to anything else, because the Adam Webster stuff to Chelsea actually seems concrete, which is weird. So how much is Webster worth if we're
150
he's
mil.
by far so how much, because he's by far one of our best centre backs. I mean, him and Dunk are in a league of their own. Obviously Veltman's good, but he's not Webster and Dunk. So
hold on a minute. How mental is this? Chelsea loaned us one of their best centre back prospects and now want to buy a centre back from us.
I saw someone saw someone reply going, "What about that Colwell guy we've got?"
Yeah, they literally just loaned one of their centre backs to us, and now they want to buy one of our other centre backs.
Yeah,
permanently.
it's an interesting one because
Colwell must be sitting there being like, "What the fuck."
Well, the whole reason this has come about, I believe, is from what I've read, is that obviously the Fofana deal, which they've been trying to push through, seems to be a few stumbling blocks on price and just in terms of getting that deal over the line. Hence why they've now turned their attentions to Webster.
Not going to be any easier
though,
negotiating with Bloom, that's for sure.
Yeah, and bear in mind, this is the same Chelsea, that's just spent 60 million on Cucurella and also bid 50 million for Anthony Gordon. So if they're spending that sort of money on these players, we've got to be looking at stupid money for Webster, because why would we let him go now to Chelsea? I mean, we'd have to be silly, because if we let him go to Chelsea, you'd say, okay, but then you've got to let us sign Colwell on a permanent and buy him out. That's the only way that would be fair. Because other than that, I just can't see how that would even work with us letting Webster go. And it took him 2 years to settle anyway.
Also, a key point for me is we signed him for 20 million from Bristol City. So the fact that we've already put out 20 million, we've developed him. So all that money and time and effort. So yeah, realistically, you're looking at least 40 million minimum 40 million. Because
if we got 50 mil, I'm taking it 100%. I'm taking 50 mil, but I want us to get Colwell permanently. I think that's the only way that would be fair, because I think that if we're, Webster's injury prone a lot, which is probably the one thing that would take his price down compared to other players. But at the same time, you've got Anthony Gordon going for 45 million. I'm sorry, Anthony Gordon at 45 million. Even Weatherton fans that I know say that that's ridiculous pricing. And Chelsea are on a mad one at the moment. It seems like Chelsea and United are absolutely panic buying at the moment.
Yeah.
They literally, their boardrooms have lost their heads, and clearly so. So
it's just proof that they literally just. I know I said it already, but it's actually bonkers. Loaning a centre back out, and then wanting to buy another centre back from the same club that you just loaned one of your centre backs to.
That's crazy. It makes the same position.
That is actually embarrassing for a new owner, whatever his name, Ted Bundy. No, not Bowley. Fuck me.
Ted Bundy. Ted Bowley. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Ted Bundy. Okay, cool. So we all agree that obviously we don't want him to go. Obviously, we're all in agreement to that. We don't want him. We don't want to see him go. But if he was to go, we're looking at 40 to 50 million. I think we're all agreed with that.
Easy.
Yeah.
This is the Chelsea side that's overpaying. We've got to be looking upwards there. Because I just think that even 60 million for Cucurella looks cheap after the Gordon bids. So, this is crazy.
Cucurella after the weekend, it looks like he wants to make a move back, mate. It was a general mistake.
I don't want him back. He can stay there. I don't care.
I think he drove past the Amex on the way back from Leeds to London. You know that classic thing when he
classic. I saw that.
I drove past Stamford Bridge. He's like, when did you do that?
Yeah.
When the fuck did you do that?
Right, and then another transfer as well, potential transfer. Obviously, we were quite convinced that Maupay was going to Forest, but that doesn't look like the case anymore. And he now looks favourite to join Fulham in a similar sort of amount, I think 15 to 20 million. Looks like that's going to go through. But it's interesting though, because obviously they got Mitrovic up front.
Oh, imagine them two shithouses together. That'd be jokes.
The two shithouses together. That's actually a good point. But yeah, interesting how he fits into the system at Fulham. But also, for us, I think more importantly, the question is for us. Will we replace him? I think that's the key thing. Will we get another striker in? I would love Broha. I think he's so good from Chelsea, but I just don't see that being realistic. I think he's too important to them.
Mate, with Maupay, didn't Potter say yesterday that it's less imminent, whatever that really means, that his departure is less imminent now than it was before? So whether that means that he's probably had second thoughts, I don't know, because I don't think it would have been get out Maupay, we don't want you anymore. It would have been Maupay just thinking about options, which is fair enough.
Yeah. And the right offer coming through.
I think the Forest one, it seemed like the Forest one was quite a bit further down the line than this Fulham one. I feel like the Fulham
It seems like Forest is a lot more of an attraction than Fulham, obviously for obvious reasons as well. I mean, you'd rather play for Forest than Fulham because you've got better chance of staying in the league, bigger club, etc. So I just think, if Forest ain't going to happen, which it isn't, I just don't know why he'd want to go to Fulham over us.
I think it's just first team football at that point, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
and London lifestyle, maybe.
It depends if they can offer, and also living in London. I think that's a key thing, right?
Yeah,
like, living in London's a big draw to a lot of these players.
Yeah.
But I mean, I personally, right now, if I was a player, I'd be. I know I'm biased because I'm a Brighton fan, but I'd be staying at Brighton 100%. I'd be like, I want to be part of this team, see what we can do this season because it looks really promising right now.
He's been kept out of the team by Danny Welbeck, so he must know that his time is up in this.
And we haven't even seen Dennis Undav play yet, which is weird.
No, exactly. So I know Welbeck's doing really well, but it's still just a bit of a fuck you to Maupay. Clearly, if he can't get in the team ahead of Welbeck, because Maupay is meant to be our best striker, but now, this injury-prone Welbeck, who's like 30, 31, is doing bits and signed a 2-year contract now, which is really, really good for him. But the only reason why I want us to sell Maupay, I don't not like him. I really like him, but it basically just enables us to then sign an actual other striker, and we've been linked with that Enes Unal from Getafe as well, who looks decent. Is like the 9th most clinical striker last season out of like the top leagues, which would be exactly what we need. So that's the only reason why I want to see Maupay go, is just so we actually sign another striker, a first team striker.
Yeah.
That'd be.
Yeah, I was about to add that in for you then. All right, brilliant. Okay, so that rounds up the transfer news at the moment. And then finally then, boys, let's just quickly touch on the Carabao Cup game against Forest Green midweek. Let's just quickly talk about like who we're most excited to see on Wednesday, because obviously we were anticipating a full swap of 11. Who are we most excited to see? Whoever wants to start first.
I'll go for the front three. I want to see. I mean, I guess you want to see Matoma as well. This is a good headache to have because I want to see all of these players play. But I'd love to see maybe like Undav and then Enciso and Sarmiento maybe as a front three. Obviously, Van Heck's now gone to Sunderland as well, which was quite surprising. But obviously, I guess that's because Colwill. That's because Colwill came in, so we won't be seeing him. They're kind of just some of those youngsters. I'd love to see Matoma play as well. I really enjoyed watching him against Newcastle. He looks quality. He looks rapid, so direct, very similar to Sarmiento.
And Ryan, any players you're excited to see? Hopefully midweek.
Undav, I think. I want to see Undav get a game. I just want to see how he plays. I want to see how clinical he can be as well, because what we saw in the early signs of the pre-season was he can get powerful shots off and on target quite well. And that's a very rare thing to have as a striker. So I think him and, Sarmiento is probably the obvious. Colwill maybe. But I think, probably just him. I think he's the one that I really want to see. Whether he'll even get a game, I don't know, because we might be thinking about saving him for Leeds. But I don't know. I expect us to turn him over about 4 or 5-0 anyway, so we'll see.
I can't wait till we lose 1-0. Me personally, I want to see like Undav, Matoma. I want to see all these players that you all mentioned, but one that's a bit of a different one. I would like to see Lamptey back in the team.
Oh yeah,
and getting back to match fitness. I want to see him back to his best, because I feel like that injury really killed him last season, and I feel like if he can get back to his best, he is 100% starting in that team. Like if he can have a fully fit at his best, Lamptey, he definitely gets in our team. Facts. So I just want to see him back to his full fitness and full best. That's what I'd love to see. So hopefully Forest Green can be the start of that. And then going on to the big game, boys, the title chasers, Leeds.
The title chasers, European chasers, top 4 chasers.
Top of the table clash. Can't wait. It's gonna be a big game actually. Like it's actually a huge game for us. Obviously at home as well. I'm gonna be there. I'm assuming you boys are gonna be there.
I think I will be, I think I will be there.
Yeah,
I'm not confirmed yet, but I think I can try and get a ticket.
Of course.
Look at that. We're going to have a full house at the Amex for Seagulls Social. But really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great game. And do you know what? I'm actually a little bit scared, because Leeds, if like I'll just start. I feel like with Leeds, like that Aronson.
How much
was
did Josh
unreal.
Payton say that?
No. Generally, I watched them against Chelsea. And I was actually like, "Fuck!" Like they're pressing that game.
Yeah, Marsh has done
like,
well.
Sensational.
Well.
Yeah, and I don't really believe in Marsh. I feel like he's going to get sacked at some point down the line. But I feel like at the moment he's got. Yeah, I still believe he won't do well. I feel like he won't do that well. But at the moment he's doing really well. Like I'm not contesting that. I just feel like the longevity of him isn't. I'm still not convinced, but we'll see. But anyway, yeah, Aronson, Adams, Rodrigo,
Harrison. All of a sudden,
yeah, Harrison. Like going forward, they look dangerous. So I'm worried. I'm not going to lie to you. What do you think, Brian?
I'll tell you what. I think that Leeds are played well, obviously against Chelsea, but I think as well you've got to take into account every team seems to have those days where they turn up against these big sides, right? It seems like Leeds. I think even one of the Leeds writers on the Athletic said that it was one of those games where Jesse Marsh needed that anyway. That one of those big things to forget about the past of Bielsa and everything to make fans move on, which is a very fair point, to be fair.
Yeah.
Just quite a big moment in his career at Leeds. But I think you play against Graham Potter. You're going to have exactly the same thing. We're going to play dominant football. We're going to create chances. We're going to try and hold possession. We'll try and break down the teams. I expect we'll probably do the same again against Leeds. I don't fear anyone in this league at the moment, to be honest. I think apart from obviously your obvious teams in this league, I don't really think, oh God, we've got to play Leeds United at home. Oh, this could be a tough. I think maybe we could get a draw. Maybe we could draw. I just don't think we're going to lose. On a very, very surprised that we lose, I think it would take a very off-colour Brighton. But I think with the depth we've got at the minute, we've got a good bench, we've got a good development squad, we've got a fantastic starting 11, we've got full flowing confidence, good manager. I don't see any reason why we can't win 2-0 against Leeds on the weekend.
Jesus.
Ooh, are you sticking with that for your prediction? Just quickly, are you going to stick with that?
Yeah, I'll stay with that for my prediction. 2-0. Yeah, 100%.
Nice, love it. Ben?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit concerned after watching them play against Chelsea. Again, I know it could just be one of those games. Even against Southampton, they played well. Rodrigo again, he looks like a completely new player this season. It looks a really, really good striker, very pacey as well, which sometimes our defenders can't really handle. So that could be a bit of a problem. They're on the back of a huge win and a huge win for the club, like I said, Ryan. They will be bang up for it, I reckon. They'll see this game away from home, but they'll look at it as a game that they can win, which maybe they wouldn't have probably thought last year, or maybe even the season before that. I think they're going to be bang up for it, and which makes me a bit nervous for it. I don't really know if it's going to be as straightforward as a 2-0 win.
I feel like even for us, we've gone to West Ham and we've gone to Man United. I feel like when you play away, there's that less pressure. Obviously, I feel like there's more pressure to play at home than there is away.
Yeah. Is that why we're so bad at home? Because we're forgetting. Every time we do a preview, we always forget that we're really shit at home.
Bad at home.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We need to start talking about home tax and just maybe minus 2 goals or minus 1 goal every time we say we're going to win 2-0.
Whereas I feel like Leeds are the opposite. They're really good at home because their support is so good. And I'm not saying they're bad away from home, but they also, actually, I've really gone against my original point here, haven't I? But yeah, I feel like at home, they got the support, they got that really good crowd at home, so they usually perform at home. But I just feel like as an away team, just across the board, as an away team, you usually have less pressure and you feel a bit more fluid and you can be a bit more free. So it'll be interesting to see what Leeds side turn up, because we've seen this season they've beaten Chelsea and Wolves, and then drawn against Southampton where they were 2-0 up as well, bearing in mind, and they capitulated. So it just depends on what Leeds turns up, and obviously what Brighton turns up, as you mentioned, Ben. And Ryan actually. If the best Brighton side turns up, we can easily win that game. But if we just have that one-off day, then Leeds can nick it or even get a draw. So right, so let's quickly then let's get predictions. So Ryan, you went
on the other side though. Sorry, quickly on the other side, Leeds will look at us and say, well, they've played West Ham United, who are both bottom of the table, which they'll probably say that we played them rubbish. But we could also say they played Wolves, who've looked really, really rubbish as well this year. So it's like Wolves normally would look like a good win, but they drew to home at Fulham 0-0.
Well, I got a good point regarding what you've just said, actually, Ben, yesterday on my tweet, and it was probably one of the tweets that I was quite proud of. Actually, I thought it deserved more likes than they got. But I said Graham Potter has an incredible way of making the opposition look poor, and by that I mean, notice how the teams get a result. The teams we get a result against, are often having a bad day. So, for example, yesterday saw Newcastle against City.
Always, yeah.
Wolves, Newcastle having a bad day against us, right? But we should have put them away easily. But obviously, Newcastle turned up against City. So that's my point. So I said, high press, high intensity, accurate passing, and patient build-up is enough to drain any team. Now, honestly, the genuinely, when you went to West Ham, the patient build-up was obscene. Like, we would just hold the ball, pass it around, tire them out. You saw it against Newcastle as well, and that heat as well, passing the ball around, making a team work for it, run for it. And then that quick counter-attack, all of a sudden, you've got McAllister, finds the ball for a little flick, and there's a goal. It almost reminds me of Leicester back when they were right on it, under Brendan Rodgers. That sort of patient, and then all of a sudden, boom, they can hurt you. That's all of a sudden what we've got at Brighton. And I think that Potter, with that in mind, yes, Leeds had a great day against Chelsea, but I would be surprised to see him have a bad day at the Amex. And I'll stand by my 2-0. I do think we've got it in us to beat him.
All right, 2-0, Ryan. Ben?
I'm going to say 1-1. I reckon it'll be a draw.
I'm edging
home
towards
tax,
draw
mate.
as well.
We're ponying at home.
Yeah,
Home
we are.
Home tax.
I'm going to go 1-0 as well. Just quickly, last week, myself and Ben predicted wins for Brighton, and we were bang on. Ben said 2-0. No, you said 2-1.
I said 1-0.
No, I said
1-0.
You said 1-0. I said 2-1. And then you said draw, right?
I said 1-0, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, 1-1 draw. So no, not a bad start. I think we've done all right there. And then so for next week we've got a 2-0 win for home win for Brighton from Ryan, and 1-1 draws from myself and Ben. So there we go. But yeah, stick your comments down below. What you think your predictions are going to be. It'll be always good to hear from you guys. So yeah, lads. Another beautiful podcast, if we can say so ourselves. So
approaching number 100, by the way.
Oh, the big one.
This is 96.
The special.
one.
The special.
The special
one.
one.
Say.
All right, cool. So, boys, comments down below. What we're going for?
I think it's got to be
egg fraud rice.
Do something about McAllister.
I don't like it.
McAllister, I think. He's been brilliant. Viva Alexis.
Viva Alexis.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like it.
Oh, no, yeah, Matalan. That's really good as well. Maybe just do both.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Viva Alexis if you want to be nice, or do something weird like whatever you said, Matalan or something if you want to be weird.
Yeah.
Rinse them out, that kid.
Right, Viva Alexis or Matalan, whichever you prefer. Just comment down below. Help that algorithm push. But yeah, of course, as per usual, please do. Yeah, please keep. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please keep streaming, keep watching, and all that good stuff on Spotify and Apple, and of course on YouTube.
Vote on the FCAs.
And vote on the FCAs. Good point, Ryan. Keep voting on the FCAs. We really appreciate all the support, and hopefully we can go one step better this year and win the whole lot. So yeah,
we will.
Right, lads, it's been a pleasure. Everyone listening out there, lads and lasses, we appreciate you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.